how to manage multiple projects. And I'm going to specifically talk in construction, but it applies everywhere. This is such an important concept because unless you're on a large project, in order for the company to be profitable, if you're a project manager or super, likely you're managing multiple projects. So there are some very key things that you can do in order to, I would say, preserve yourself and really have a decent experience with this. So let me go ahead and begin right now. Number one, if you manage over 5 projects, you're essentially not managing the 6th. Now, I know that there are people in the industry who do like smaller renovations or civil projects. They'll say they do 18 projects. But when you really dig deep, you have a couple of them in pre-con, you have a couple of them finishing out, and usually you only find that they're running between 3, I'll go really excessive, 3 to 7 projects at any given time. You really can't, according to the studies that I learned in the Scrum Master training and that I was linked to where I actually saw the actual study, you can really only manage 5 because of context switching. And the point is that when you're managing one project, you're focused. In many aspects, working on larger projects is easier. I've always said working on smaller projects is more difficult because you have to manage the entire thing and all aspects, and you don't have all of those wonderful resources. And if you're not just managing a smaller project, but many projects, you could manage multiple large projects, but if you're managing many projects, then you are distracted and you have context switching, meaning when you go from this project to this project, there's time that it takes for your brain to adjust, which takes time, at least 15 to 45 minutes for administrative items, longer for more complex tasks or field-focused tasks. So that is the point. And in these studies, if you go from one project, let's say 100% focus, down to 2 at 80, 3 at 60, 4 at 40, and then you go down to 5 at 20, at number 6, you don't have any percentage of focus really. So you have to make sure that you're 5 or less, generally speaking as a rule, unless there's something that I don't know about, which very well could be the case. The other thing that's huge that I always talk about, and oh, by the way, the most important book for you to read is Goldratt's Rules of Flow. And nowadays you can just grab your phone and download the app Speechify and literally just scan the book and have it read to you if you can't find it on audio. Reading that book, Goldratt's Rules of Flow, or the Rules of Flow, is crucial because it will talk to you about the different concepts that you must espouse. Number one being triage. Triage means do the most important things first and don't multitask. If you multitask, you start to distract yourself and you limit or you lower your focus, which is called dosage. That means that you're not actually preparing work with full kit before the trade partners or whoever is going to start on something is actually going to start. There's a number of other rules to the rules of flow, but those, in my opinion, are the most important. And so one of the things we need to do is make sure you have the right amount of projects, but the other thing in your time block calendar is to do them at the right time. If on every day you're doing all 3, 4, or 5 projects, you're going to waste time in context switching. And I have studied this, and this is a real number, at least 2 hours of it a day. For the most part, you can't do this entirely because you're working around clients and stakeholders, and I get it, other schedules, but if you can, do project 1 on Monday, project 2 on Tuesday, you get my point. Attempt to chunk them. Chunking is the right word, not batching. Batching has to do with the size and the amount of parts, but chunking means how you organize the necessary parts together. Chunk the projects together so that when you're working in a day on that project, you're in that context and you don't have to context switch. Okay, so that's crucial. The next thing that I would do is you have to make sure that you create visual communication systems that will allow you to run the project properly. So you're going to have, if you're a project manager or if you're a superintendent doing this, you're going to have multiple projects or foremen that you're dealing with. in whatever case you're dealing with, you have to make sure that whatever instruction is placed there from you for the week is visual. If you're a super, it will be a visual huddle board in the field for the foreman. If you're a project manager, it would be like a virtual Miro board for your superintendents to follow. And here's the key. Whoever you have to check in with, whether it's the super to foreman, PM to supers, or some other permutation of that, or some other situation I haven't even thought of, you need to make sure you have time blocked out so that you can connect with those folks. For instance, like if I'm a PM and I have multiple projects, so I'm dealing with 5 superintendents, I'm going to make sure that every day from 7 to 8 or 8 to 9 or 7:30 to 8:30, that's my time to connect with the supers in the morning. Then I know what the field needs and I can time block the rest of my day to be effective. Now, if you're managing multiple projects, you have to have focus time. You have to have some productive, no distraction, no meeting times. And here are some production principles that I have to ask you to follow. Number 1 is stay away from email as much as you can. Put information on those visual locations and stay away from email. If you're using email for the CYA legal items, do it for external communication only. Do not use email for internal use. Switch everybody over internally to either Asana, ClickUp, Microsoft Teams, WhatsApp, or Voxer, or a text chat, which I don't prefer because of the Android and Apple fight. I'm telling you, Voxer and WhatsApp are genius. Just like the metric system, everybody else in the world is using WhatsApp except for the United States, and it's killing us. WhatsApp is one of the best programs ever invented. And yes, everybody already has your information, so don't even freak out about it. It's encrypted though, end to end. These communication systems are fast and will keep you connected, and it will make sure that you're only using email when it works for you and that you check it when it works for you in the day. The other thing is no back-to-back meetings ever again. Every meeting that you schedule has to have a 10-15 minute buffer between it. In our company, we have a rule. You will never schedule an hour-long meeting. You will never schedule a 30-minute meeting. You will never schedule a 90-minute meeting. It will either be 15 or 20 minutes, or it will be 45 or 50, or it will be 70, 75. We do not ever have whole or half-hour meetings, because we know what that leads to: back-to-back meetings, and then you're just going to keep putting stuff on your to-do list, and it's going to spiral out of control. And guess what? That's another 2 hours. That is a historical fact. 2 hours of waste if you have back-to-back meetings. We've got to get to the point where you have a wonderful personal organization system, which Paul Akers and I would both recommend. David Allen and the book Getting Things Done. Have a personal organization system, keep track of your time, stay organized. And there's another book called Come Up for Air, which talks about the office systems. And if you ever want to get really great at all of this, study Paul Akers and how he uses Voxer and WhatsApp and verbal communication over text and email. I know we all love email, but email is the most destructive thing ever for the construction industry. It wastes so much time. Now we have paper or email project managers that don't do anything but write and respond to emails all day without doing real work and real leadership. So this is my top advice for how to run multiple projects if you have to do it. And if you ever need more advice, reach out to us in the comments below. We love you, you know that. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.